fact kind of thing. But first I want to say thank you for coming to our presentation. And I'm going to say now, so I have a textbook series coming out end of February and March for after school programs. So what I'm going to do is, so here's a sample, I have it on my table over there. The book one is whoever wants, so sorry, everyone who came here can write their name and email, and I'm going to do like a drawing, and the person I draw is going to get a full set for free, sample set. So my textbook has communication and reading, because you'll see later how my after school is styled. But I just want to say that first. So if you come to my table later, you can check out my books and stuff. Half my samples didn't come that I ordered, but you can check out the first book, and then I will be having you write your names down and email, and then again, whoever wins will get a full set for free. So first I'll get. Oh, I don't think this is working. I don't know if that is working. Okay. First, I'll get started. This is my after school. I have been running my after school. What year is it? 2025. For 7 years now? About 7 years. I started in 2019. What happened in 2020? So I lived through that, luckily, and this year I have the most students I've ever had, which is around 62-ish. And I'm in a little countryside, Kisarazu. If anyone knows where Kisarazu is in Chiba. And I have Kids Duo to compete with, if you know Kids Duo. So, but I have about 62 students. I keep creeping on Kids Duo and taking their students as well, but we'll see how that goes. I'm going to close this door. Thank you so much. They're a little bit more ginky than me. I'm very shy, so but yeah, this right here is some pictures of my classroom. But we'll get started. So my presentation is after school care and the importance of bringing smiles through English, because you want to build a strong and fun foundation for students. Just push. So sorry, we're back. You want to build a strong and fun foundation for students who have limited English exposure, because most of our students don't go to international schools. They don't have parents that speak English, or if they do, they don't speak English at home. They speak Japanese or Chinese. So my students are Chinese. So first off, I don't know why I set this up like this every time. Why smiles and English matter in after-school programs? First off, we're bridging gaps. Many children lack opportunities to learn English outside the classroom, as I said before. The after-school program offers a fun and supportive space for the kids to learn English. Because, an after-school program is not just, 20, 30, 50-minute lessons. It's 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours of children straight. Empowering through fun. A joyful learning environment encourages children to build confidence while exploring a new language. It has to be fun because, especially, again, 2 or 3 hours, what happens, kids, mo yada, kairitai, onaka heita, onaka itai. So, riu. And creating lifelong memories. So you keep fun activities combined with English education that leave a lasting positive impressions. Many of my students are now junior high school from when I first started, and they stayed, well, the ones that stayed said they would not change that experience for anything else because it was fun. It helped them grow a passion for English. Some of my students, the first ones, the junior high school, 3rd grade now, and about to pass Aiken Pre-1. They didn't quit my school because they moved, but they grew a passion for English, and now they study English by themselves. So this gives students something to remember when they think about English instead of, let me go study grammar for 10, 20, 30 hours a month, like that.
So I'm sorry, so it's really Monday through Friday, every day after school?
So
2 to 3 hours.
So pretty much my after school is set up, we'll get to it later as well, but students have the option to go between 2 days a week and 5 days a week. The minimum is 2 days a week. They pretty much come from when school finishes. I have cars, so I pick them up. The little soge, I take me to school, but we don't start the English lessons until 4. because some of you who already has after school programs, anyone? So as you notice, some schools first graders finish 2:30. Third, fourth, fifth graders finish at 3:30, 3:45. So by the time some of them get there, well, if we start lessons early, it's kind of hard. Usually, we might start like a phonics class, the beginner phonics class at 3:40, because by then all the students are here. But again, I live in Kisarazu, which takes we have to go to this school 10 minutes away, this school 20 minutes away, this school 25 minutes away, and then come to the school. So it's pretty much pretty much 4 to 6:30 is the learning. But as they come into the school, the native and Japanese staff are, hey, how are you? How was your day? What did you do this weekend? What did you have for lunch? So getting them started speaking English, because what have they been doing all day? Speaking Japanese. So it's a big switch. You have to turn that switch on. Some kids are easier than others because they just love learning English. The other kids are like, お母さんいつもで英語行こう。だから they don't want to go until they get there, type of thing. You see that a lot. It's like, yada yada, and they get there, go home, 今日楽しかった. And you're like, よかった。みたいね。So.
I'm really curious about the gap between 2 days a week and 5 days a week, but I don't want to take up all the time in
that's
your
fine.
presentation.
So I'll be getting there near the end because there is a big gap in those, and that's one reason I started my textbooks as well, is to fill the gap for the 5 days a week kids. Because by the time they get to Friday, they learned everything for that week. Like, もうつまんない. So it's just, I started building my own program towards 2 and 5 days a week kids, so that they can all study together. So.
Sounds challenging.
All ears. It's a bit challenging, but I've been getting there. So we'll go here. The comprehensive role of the after-school program. So you're going to start with happy foundations. Simple and engaging English that grows progressively. So you don't want these brand new kids to come in, hey, how's it going? What'd you do today? And they're like the first time learning English. You want to go, hello, how are you? What's your name? You're slowly progressing up based on their level. Then adding where you can. Some students will pick up faster than others, but you want to keep the levels pretty consistent. We have weekly sessions filled with enjoyable immersive activities, games within, because they learn the same thing every day, so you have to do a different game every day. So they provide education for reading, writing, speaking English, and realistic communication skills. For example, I like to teach here you go, because in Texas, we don't say here you are, we say here you go. So I never even heard of here you are until I came to Japan, so now I teach based on where I'm from. So then they learn different styles. And then we do games, crafts, and then role-playing, I have role-playing included in my higher level textbooks as well. In my school, we have 4 levels. So we have the beginner level, which is 100% beginner to English, or a little bit of English, but they're not at that reading level yet. We have the junior level, the intermediate level, and advanced level. So beginner level, we establish the basic vocabulary, simple conversations, and basic level reading comprehension, and basic phonics and alphabet. So we put it all together. Junior level, we expand the basic vocabulary. We do increased conversation levels. You'll be able to see it in my books as well. I don't have all my samples, but you see every unit, the communication increases each week. We do double level, for junior, double vowel and double consonant phonics, and introduction to self-writing. So they start writing their, I forget English, like profile, like the self-introduction, a longer, level 1, they'll do like basic. Hello, my name is, I'm 5 years old. But then as you get older, hello, my name is Nani. I dislike nani nani. I really don't like. I really hate. So that kind of progression of like, love, don't like, dislike, hate. So they learn the different levels of progression. Intermediate level is more complex language skills, like as I just said. We introduce to grammar. We start doing is, like the bidoshi, is, am, are, like the rules of grammar. And then self-writing, more advances. I didn't fix that. I meant more advanced. I swear I'm an English teacher. I just sometimes make mistakes. And then practical usage of English. I should have brought my water. And then for advanced level, we prepare students to understand and produce enhanced language skills, high level grammar skills, and advanced self-writing skills. Usually my advanced levels are between 4th and 6th grade. And then my school also has a 6th grade and junior high school program, which they usually go into after that, which are 2 hours long as well. But that's not what today is about. Today is about the after school program. Beginner level, focus. The objective, build confidence in basic communication and foster an interest in English. Because maybe half the students that come, they're interested already. And that's why, but parents are busy, they don't want to do 50-minute lessons, so they have, we have an after school program, we can take them there. But then the other half are probably, もうめんどくさい、英語やりたくない。The mom and dad is like, English is important, you need to go. So you have to build an interest, which can be tough for some kids. Maybe you have some kids that are always yada. They don't want to do nothing at all, which is partly hard. Or you have the students that are, twins, and one's a very good kid, and the other one's a really bad kid. So every year I have different twins. I think I've had twins every year since I opened, and like different groups of twins. And there's always that one really good one, and the one really bad one, and the really bad one's like the really good one in English, and he knows it, and that's why he acts bad. He's like, oh, I'm better. I don't need to learn this. So the main thing is you want, as I said today, spreading smiles. So I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it overall. The main thing is when you're teaching English to kids, even when you're angry, you have to have a smile. I mean, you can kind of have like that, but you can't be like, oi, oi there, しないでね. Hey.
Because kids don't pick up on your fake smile either. Like as adults, we just did. But when I'm stressed, but I'm still smiling, most kids don't.
Yeah, no, so because they just see the smile. And the main thing is these kids will, like, sometimes I have to be the bad guy. Because I'm not the main teacher of my after school. And I'd rather not the teachers be the very main guy, bad guy. So I come in and I'm the bad guy. I'm like, hey, I heard you do this, come here. And I talk to them. I sit them down, talk to them. But I'm still sitting there with a half smile. I'm like, hey, you know that you did this bad. What are you going to do to change this in the future? So because, you don't want them to feel that everything they do is going to make you angry. And kids will think that. I've had teachers who've done that before. The kid just doesn't come fast enough to the lesson room because kids change lesson rooms at my school, and one teacher just gets changed angry face. Oi, hayaku de mo. It's like first grade student. They're very slow. So I always emphasize you have to have smiles. And you can't just be sitting in there like I had an old teacher one time. I caught him sitting there like this one time. All right, turn to page 6. All right, and it's just your attitude affects the children's attitude. So if you don't want to be there, they don't want to be there. Especially 2.5 hours. They see the teacher sitting there on the phone, sitting there watching YouTube. If I'm busy, I can't check the classroom all the time, and it just really affects the students. After I got rid of that I had no more. That teacher. I had no more problems, and actually my school got a lot better. So it's just you have to be careful about who you. I mean, even you might have teachers who do it at first, and you can teach them how to not do it, and they'll do it. But no matter how many times I talked to this teacher, and they didn't change, and my school just went down. And then after I got rid of him and got new teachers, so teachers that, oh, thank you. My mouth is dry.
I know it's like to do presentations.
So the main thing is you want to enforce it, and especially with the young kids, I have a point card. So I have a point card. The kids get a certain amount of points, but they can lose points. But once they get a certain amount of points, they get prizes. Legos, Sylvania, stuff like that. Depends on how many. So like 20 points, they get 1 prize. If a student
I'm so sorry. In terms of space, do you kind of have a big space?
I have a really big space.
Okay.
So my entire school, I have the second floor of it area. It's 200 meters squared.
I see.
So I think I use 90 meters for my lessons and my office, and the other 110 meters is for the after school. So it's pretty big.
So you can divide them into different levels and different groups.
That's correct.
That's fantastic.
So
Lucky you.
they're like, well, the money is expensive, very expensive.
Yeah, but
So.
Tokyo, I think, is I think that's one of the struggles that.
Yeah, finding big spaces.
Finding space within the budget.
Yeah. Did you have a question?
Oh, you said, how Ninja-san can't sit down.
Yeah.
The first slide where you showed your actual school, there was like tables in every room.
Yep.
But I'm assuming that you also give them time to play on the carpet as
Yeah. So they have, before 4 o'clock, they have playtime. So I have Legos and Hot Wheels, and every time I see something new,
Hot Wheels.
yeah, every time I see something new, oh, the kids like that, and I buy it, and my staff are like, stop buying stuff. And I'm like, I can't help it. And they're like, they'll break it. And I was like, no, they won't. And I bought a table tennis, and they broke it in one day, and I'm like, okay, I guess I do break it. So,
I don't know if this is the right time to ask the question. I'm just curious. It sounds like you have quite an immersion environment, an English immersion environment. I'm wondering what role your Japanese staff play and to what extent they use Japanese with the kids.
so usually, so the younger kids, they use more. Then because let me get here. No, I'm gonna skip.
Rushing you.
No, it's fine. We only have like 5 more minutes, so I'll just go ahead and skip some of these. I can send out my PowerPoint later to everyone.
It's 5 minutes, not stop at that. I went like this too, and I was like, this doesn't mean
I know,
stop. It's
I know,
5
I know.
minutes. Sorry.
So here's, I talked about earlier my program hours, the students, and the curriculum highlights. Let me get here. Staff, native, transportation, regular parent-teacher meetings every year. We have Codemon app, if anyone knows what that is. So I use that. It also has the GPS on my cars as well. So this is my schedule here. Pretty much the lesson for the native teacher is 50 minutes. And then they have 2 25-minute lessons with Japanese teachers. So reading is where I think they use the most Japanese, because they have to explain the meaning of the long sentences. But usually native lessons here, there's 0 Japanese. Usually these 2 lessons here, they have Japanese, usually for the lower grades, beginner, junior. As I get to intermediate, senior, I cut it down to 90% English, mostly. Of course, they talk to the friends, they're going to be talking Japanese, but when they talk to the teachers, when they're in the classes, they have to use at least 90% English for teachers. The students, you can't be like, stop talking to your friends in Japanese, and they'll in Japanese. So it's the hardest thing to control, pretty much. But here, it's like 60% in this class, because, again, they're young. If you don't have Japanese in the younger classes, they will not pay attention. They won't do anything. Especially no one can say, especially 2-3 days a week kids, 100% English they'll understand at all, because they won't. Especially basic kids, they need to have that little bit amount of Japanese to explain the meaning, explain how to get the sentences to make that meaning as well. But again, as they get older, they don't need it, because they have the basics. They learn the basics, so they go forward like that. But yeah, this is my school schedule. I think I'm almost finished. I'll do a quick through here and then ask questions. We have seasonal schools as well. They start from 8 a.m., but students can come in at 7:30. And I'm the one there at 7:30, so until 8-9 o'clock at night. Yay! We have all kinds of different activities, movie days, seasonal-based activities like snow globes. The morning is 90-100%. We have no Japanese staff in the morning. I make my full-time staff do morning activities. But one of my full-time staff speaks Japanese, so if there's any emergency, me or her are there. So this is the morning schedule. This is pretty basic. And then what's this? Oh, my announcements, my textbooks, my YouTube. You guys can check out my table later and see what I've started. I have like half of my YouTube is made. I haven't posted it yet, so I'm going baby steps, and I'm busy, very busy. And then my students we went to the Science Museum last year, making snack bags. I don't know what we're doing there. Made snow globes, and then we did a carnival day, and they won prizes. I have no idea what this is either, but it looks fun. So, this is almost out of time, so I sprinted through there. Let anyone who has questions ask some questions.
Yes, please. Two very short ones actually. One, do 90% of your students or 100% of your students join before April, or do you get people joining in the middle of the year?
Okay, so this year is the first year I've had max full by April. Before then, I have students, especially first graders, parents are nervous. They'll join May, June, July. Actually, I had two trial lessons this January to join in February.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was nice. I'm like, hey, you don't have to pay the renewal fee for April because you just joined.
Yeah.
So I'm just like that as well. But yeah, a lot of first graders join May, June, July. This is my first year I'm full. Before I had 25 students join already, and I made them pay deposits. One person stopped, but they don't get the deposit back. But so I made them pay deposits because again, there's no space. But yeah, I'll say if you're worried, I only had 5 students join. If those 5 students go to school, they tell their friends about it, they tell your parents about it, they might move over as well. But again, first graders, parents are so shinpai. They're so worried about the kids going to school, they don't want them to start school and after school at the same time. So a lot of my first graders are older brothers and sisters, like about half of them. So parents know, oh, it's fine. I have one parent that has 3 students in my school now. Yeah. So it's expensive for her, but good for me. So.
Also, sorry, how do you deal with them Monday national holidays?
Sorry, can you anybody who wants to ask questions, can they speak into the mic, please?
Sorry, how do you deal with the Monday national holidays in your?
So we do transfer lessons.
You do.
Yeah. So but we're starting a new rule. If they don't request a transfer before the holiday, they can't transfer. So I had someone request a transfer yesterday for this. Friday for this past Monday. I said, sorry, you've known about this holiday for a month. We already sent out a message about it. You can't transfer. So they have to transfer before that day. Otherwise, it's just kind of chaos. So, but yeah, the holidays we don't transfer are Golden Week, Obon, and New Year's. Everything else transfers.